Hey, family. Hey, friends. It's your girl, your friend, your sister, Prophetess Tiffany, coming to you with a word of encouragement for this week of June. The 16th is today's date, but the week started on June 11th. And I just wanted to come in and give you a word of encouragement dealing with being comfortable in uncomfortable places. So I don't know about you, but I am super busy and I do not have the opportunity to spend time with my friends like I desire, or even just spending time having some adult conversations with other adults that can relate to the places and the things that I'm doing in life currently or things that I'm going through. And so, me and some of my sisters, and just anyone who wants to join, we do this thing called virtual coffee. And during virtual coffee, we just have conversations. We bring up some topics that we are dealing with, going through, or we may feel like can be helpful to those that we know or who may be in the room. And one of the topics that we talked about recently was being comfortable in uncomfortable spaces. There is a huge difference between being uncomfortable and being afraid, being scared. When you're uncomfortable, it's typically because you are in a space that is unfamiliar, you're outside of your norm, it's an unpredictable setting. Being afraid implies that you have some type of fear or anxiety, worry, stress, um, those things that hold you back and keep you bound and keep you from moving forward, taking place within yourself and in your setting. So there are times where we find ourselves in uncomfortable spaces. Whether it's because we have been blessed with extreme favor in the rooms that we walk in. For example, you can go somewhere and people in that room have been waiting for hours and hours and hours, and yet you walk in the door and you get bumped to the front of the line. And I know people can be upset about that, but listen, favor is not fair. It happens. But sometimes when those things happen, it makes us uncomfortable because we know that everyone can see the favor that has fallen on us. Or even if we have been offered a position with a company that we're coming in from the outside, and then we get there and we realize that there are people who have been there for years, people who already know the ins and outs of the business because they work there, and they have applied for that same role, but it was offered to you instead of them. That can put you in an uncomfortable place. Or even just getting something that others may be struggling to obtain, but it's just given to you in a moment's notice. Like, you don't necessarily feel like you deserve it, or you haven't really worked for it, but it ends up in your possession anyway. A lot of times, these uncomfortable places, though, come from us walking into a room and we're sizing up the people in the room. We're looking around and we're creating a standard of what we feel like these people present. Whether we think they're powerful, whether we're looking at them like they're famous because their names are known, or whether we know that everyone in this room has money or prestige, or maybe everyone in here is outspoken and I'm not that outspoken. There's something that we look around and we compare ourselves to that causes us to feel like we don't belong in that space. But I am here to tell you and to encourage you that you do indeed belong in that space. How do I know? Because there's only one you. There's only one Tiffany. I'm Tiffany. There's only one me. There's only one you. There's only one person who has been through every situation you've been through, gained the knowledge that you gained from it, overcome the way that you've overcome, made it over, through, around, or whatever it is that you've had to go through in life. And there's only one person that can speak with that knowledge and fervent that comes from those things that you've experienced. There may be other people who have gone through similar situations or even the exact same situation. However, even in those moments, Our thoughts are not the same because we did not grow up the same, or we didn't grow up in the same home. Our reactions may not be the same. Our responses may not be the same. And so the end result may be slightly different. So what I bring to the table, the knowledge, the experience, the skill set that I bring to the table, only I can bring that to the table. And so I want to help you to overcome these things that you seem to, you may be making bigger than you, these giants, as we sometimes call them, that may be making you feel like you're this small when you come into a room. And the first thing I want you to do to overcome it is kind of think about what is making you feel that way. Why do you think you're less than? Why do you feel like you're not worthy? Why do you feel like you're not adequate for whatever it is that you have been blessed to be a part of, that you've been able to come into contact with? Then I want you to stop comparing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You are one of a kind. You were made as an original. You were made fearfully and wonderfully. And there's nothing wrong with you, flaws and all. You are perfect in our Creator's eyes, because He could have easily done things differently, but He chose to create you the way that He did. And so I want you to stop comparing yourself to what you see in and around others. I want you to realize and understand what your why is. Why are you even in that room? Why are you in that space? I guarantee you there is a purpose. There is a push, something that pressed you and made you decide, you know what, this is where I belong, or this is where I need to be. Whenever we're in places that we find ourselves to be uncomfortable, 9 times out of 10, we had to press. We had to fight. We had to persevere. We had to push to get into those rooms, whether it's because we just felt like we couldn't find the right things to wear. We weren't, we were looking for someone to go with us so we could have someone to talk to and lean on. We maybe couldn't find, or maybe our friends backed out at the last moment. We have things that we have to overcome to even be in these spaces. So remember what your why is. Are you there because you're there to gain? Are you there to get some knowledge? Are you there to learn a new skill set? Are you there to network? There is someone that could be in that room, that most likely is in the room, that has something to offer you. If you can look back over your life and connect the dots of how God has brought people into your life in certain times and certain spaces, and it could be way, way, way back long ago. For example, Grace and I met in middle school. That was a long time ago. And she moved away, I've gone on with life, and then God brought us back together. And it's amazing how our friendship was rekindled, and it was like we never left. And with that being said, even back then, God was connecting some dots to build some things, to create a space just for you, for the people who are listening to the sound of my voice right now. God was creating, even back then, all those years ago, a moment just right here to let you know that you too can be comfortable in uncomfortable places and spaces. And so I want you to remember what your why is. Like, there's something to gain from every experience that you go through, every opportunity that you decide that you're going to take. Understand that discomfort is necessary for growth. Whenever you're growing and you go up in a shoe size, your feet start hurting, right? And that lets you know, hey, I need to change these shoes. Even if you go down in the size, if you lose weight and your clothes are loose now and they're kind of falling off, guess what? You're still uncomfortable because you don't want to walk around with your clothes sagging and falling all off. And so discomfort is necessary for growth. It's necessary for change. It is okay to take risks and try new things. Own who you are with your identity and own your purpose. A lot of times we will allow fear to keep us from doing and saying things that are tied to our purpose. We have to get to a place in time where we will just do it anyway, where we will move anyway, where we will decide, you know what, I'm just going to shoot my shot. What's the worst that can happen? A no is not the end of the world, trust me. You will get thousands of no's. But when it's time for that right yes, the one that is meant for you, the one that is going to open doors, that blows your mind, that gives you exceedingly and abundantly above all that you were even trying to ask for, or even thinking about, or even considering, when that yes is going to come, it's going to outweigh every no that you've ever had to hear. But sometimes we have to go through some no's to get to the yes. So do it anyway. Jump out there. Take a moment to not be afraid to be that one, the one to set it off, the one to start it all off, the one to just free fall and leave everyone else no other choice but to fall in line. No other choice but to try it as well. Like if you can do it, think about all those around you that you're going to inspire to try to meet their goals and achieve their dreams, and just give it a shot. That's how we get better, when we practice things, when we continue to do things over and over again, when we take a moment to just say, you know what, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to do it. That's how we get better. That's how we grow. That's how we get to where we want to be. Don't hold yourself to a standard that is irrelevant to your growth and to your purpose. You do not have to be uncomfortable in any room. Why? Because you're worthy to be there. You deserve to be there. You have everything that you need. And even if someone has the same or more, guess what? You are perfect and great just the way that you are. So that's my word of encouragement for today. And I'm going to pray for you guys that you will receive this word, and that you will allow it to resonate within your spirit, and that you will allow it to change your mindset and change some of your actions, that you will step boldly out to be all that you can be. So, Father God, I pray for those who are listening to the sound of my voice right now in this very moment. I pray, God, that they will allow every word that was spoken to be planted in their hearts, God, to be planted in fertile ground, that we will be able to water these seeds, God, and that we will be able to see a harvest come forth, God, whenever the timing is right, of these words that were spoken as encouragement, as empowerment, God, these words that were spoken to equip and to build up. Father God, I pray that everyone who is listening will be able to take a moment and just meditate and think on how great and awesome you have made them to be, God. How you have woven us intricately, God. How you've thought about every inch, every centimeter, God, every hair, God, every color, every part of our being, God. You have thought about thoroughly, and you have created us, you have shaped us, and you have molded us, and you have made us into a beautiful masterpiece, God, a treasure that you hold dearly to your heart. God. And I thank God